Israeli airstrikes on a tent and a home housing displaced people in southern Gaza killed 10 people Sunday, including children, as Palestinians observed the first day of Eid al-Fitr, rescuers said. The Israeli military is stepping up its renewed campaign in Gaza, with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying efforts to pressure Hamas into releasing more hostages were working, and vowing to implement Donald Trump's hugely controversial scheme to relocate Palestinians from the territory. 20 people were also injured in the strike on the Al-Mawasi area, Khan Yunis's director of civil defense Yamin Abu Suleiman told CNN, warning the death toll would likely rise. A local hospital confirmed the fatalities so far, saying 5 children had been killed. Video of the aftermath of the strike shows some of the child victims wearing new Eid clothing. In Middle Eastern tradition, children wear new clothes to celebrate the 3-day holiday. In the footage, a man is seen dragging a child toward the hospital, asking, "What was these children's fault? They did nothing." CNN has approached the Israel Defense Forces for comment. Palestinians in the Gaza Strip are observing Eid this year in the face of dwindling aid supplies and a mounting death toll in the Strip. "Every year, I'm used to baking Eid cookies for my children," one displaced woman, Amena Shakla, told CNN. "But because of the current situation and how expensive everything has become, I was only able to prepare 1 kilogram, just to bring them some joy so they don't stay sad because of the war." Abdel Fattah Khalil Karnawi, a street vendor, told of the soaring prices for clothing. "We came to the market to get Eid clothes for the children. Unfortunately, the circumstances are tough and prices are very high." Israel resumed its offensive on Gaza almost 2 weeks ago, shattering a 2-month-old ceasefire. It imposed a complete blockade of humanitarian aid entering the enclave, warning that its forces would maintain a permanent presence in parts of Gaza until the release of the remaining 24 hostages who are believed to still be alive. Hundreds of Palestinians have been killed in the enclave since then. Al-Mawasi, a coastal region west of the city of Rafah, has repeatedly come under Israeli attacks, even though it was previously designated by Israel as a humanitarian area. Thousands of Palestinians have fled to Al-Mawasi, living for months in makeshift tents made of cloth and nylon, with little access to humanitarian relief. In comments made on Sunday morning, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to step up the military campaign, saying the pressure on Hamas was working. "It works because it operates simultaneously. On one hand, it crushes Hamas' military and governmental capabilities, and on the other, it creates the conditions for the release of our hostages. This is exactly what we are doing," Netanyahu said at a government meeting. Rejecting assertions Israel was unwilling to negotiate, he added that cracks were showing in Hamas following the renewal of the offensive and said Israel would implement the Trump plan, the voluntary emigration plan, a scheme Trump himself appears to have walked back on. New ceasefire proposal. Sunday's strike comes as Hamas has agreed to a new Egyptian proposal to release 5 hostages, including the American-Israeli Eden Alexander, in exchange for a renewed ceasefire, a Hamas source told CNN. The proposal is similar to one presented several weeks ago by U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, although it is not clear whether it also includes the release of additional bodies of deceased hostages. In exchange for the release of 5 hostages, Hamas expects a return to Phase 1 ceasefire conditions, including the entry of humanitarian aid into Gaza, as well as an agreement from Israel to negotiate the second phase of the ceasefire, the source said. Israel has responded to the Egyptian offer with a counterproposal, according to a statement from the Israeli Prime Minister's office. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu conducted a series of consultations yesterday, following a proposal received from the mediators. In recent hours, Israel transferred its counterproposal to the mediators in full coordination with the United States, the office said. Netanyahu is facing competing demands at home from his right-wing coalition who want to increase pressure on Hamas and families of the remaining hostages who fear more military action could endanger their loved ones.